Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ghannam.
Alaikum assalam. I'm just getting the screen out, see if more people join, inshallah. It's the same code you need to use every day. You don't have to use, I don't have to remind you every day. So
No,
this
you don't.
the current meeting. So I thought that's a good thing from Zoom. They allow you to program recurrent meetings for every day or every week, which is a good, really. Alhamdulillah. I mean, that's I've been teaching my grandchildren Arabic. So I start at 11 o'clock, and it has also the ability to write. Write on the screen.
Yeah.
And they see it. So like in Arabic, there's the vowels you need to put on the show them the vowels. What are they? Now we are in 56, I think.
Yes, Zoom is good. We use it for business all the time. The standard tool for business in the bank. Plus, it was free, so the bank dived.
Because the bank is poor. They need. You know, business people, they make use of any opportunity. You just they just don't waste any chance. Like they show you, they show you a tennis ball on one of the adverts. You don't know when opportunity drops, and this tennis ball drops in the city center, in the street, in the park, and it drops in the airport. And Richard Branson is going to board his plane. He just take it and put it straight in his pocket. He doesn't, where it came from. He doesn't care. It came. Just picked it up. And so last week we stopped at 55. About wiping over your socks. I think we mentioned that, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I didn't attend the session on Friday.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I don't attend the sessions on Friday. Friday, because it's my lunch hour, it gets too much attending the khutbah as well as this, as well as doing the shower and everything else. So I don't attend the sessions on Fridays.
Right. So we only have two more Fridays to come, because Eid is 24th. It's Sunday 24th. So Friday. Right. Okay. That. will be a press ahead. I think ونرى الدعاة لأئمة المسلمين بالصلاح والإقرار بإمامتهم وتضليل مرة الخروج عليهم إذا ظهر منهم ترك الاستقامة. I think we've done that as well. That we are not in agreement with those who come out with arms to fight the leaders, and unless there's the hadith we mentioned last week that the leaders, there's two acceptable reasons. If the leader announces that he's no longer a Muslim and refuses to leave office, and in a Muslim country, obviously, or he forbade praying. That's stop people praying. And we mentioned last week, so the top one, you didn't hear it then, that we believe that you can wipe over your socks for wudu instead of washing your feet, providing you had wudu before you put your socks on or khuf, and you can do that 24 hours if you are resident, and 3 days if you are traveling. And number 57, that we disagree with people who take arms against the leaders, and we don't participate in any fitna or tribulation, and we accept that the Ajal will appear, the false Messiah, May Allah protect us from him, as it came in the hadith. And we believe in the punishment in the grave. This also went through last time. And we believe in two angels, Munkar and Nakir, who come to question a person in his grave. Let me send reminder to people about this the course, because might have because nobody turned up. Let me send them this reminder. Did you use a password to get in?
Did I? No, I don't use password. No.
You clicked and you get in.
Yeah, because I've already got an account with Zoom.
Oh, you come through your account.
Yeah.
Now, another thing we believe that they question people after death. So the sooner the person is buried, the angels in Ankar and Nakir question him. And 59, we believe in the hadith of Mi'raj, that Allah took Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to a journey to above the 7 heavens. And we agree with the seeing in his dream. We agree that he went in, he saw Allah in his dreams, and he went in Mi'raj in his dreams. So he went Mi'raj body and soul, and he went Mi'raj in a dream. And he mentioned many times that he saw his Lord in his dream. And we also spoke last week about we accept that sadaqah. Assalamu alaikum Amjad. وَنَرَى الصَّدَقَةَ عَلَى مَوْتَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ. You can give charity for people who die, and Allah will give them the reward. Not necessarily that they left the money behind. So sadaqah jariyah, they set up ongoing charity before they die. But if you give sadaqah on behalf of the dead person, like you feed people or you give charity, that Allah will reward the dead person from your reward. So you ask Allah to reward him. And dua is also, you pray for the person who died, you ask Allah to forgive him, and we believe that Allah will benefit them. Now, dua to the person, whether he is alive or dead, the reply is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah might or might not accept. So those who say the dua after this will not reach, they are denying Allah's ability to benefit the dead person. So dua is from a third party. If the person deserves to be rewarded, Allah will reward him. If the person doesn't deserve to be rewarded, whether you make a dua or 100 dua, it will not. So Allah, when Prophet Muhammad made istighfar for Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Abi Salul, the head of the hypocrite, Allah said to him, even if you make 70 dua, Allah, he said, I will not accept. And Muhammad said, I will increase it, I'll make it more than 70. So Allah sent another ayah that whether you ask for the forgiveness or you don't ask for the forgiveness, Allah will never forgive them. So he stopped. So here, a lesson to us that it's ultimately in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah might or might not accept. Contrary to what the Wahhabis say, oh, the dead person, you can't benefit him. You can't benefit anybody. You just ask Allah Azza wa Jal to benefit. If Allah agrees, He will benefit, whether he's dead or alive. If Allah doesn't agree that the person deserves to be forgiven or rewarded or punished, it's in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jal. You just ask. So the Prophet himself, he was told not to ask anymore to Allah to forgive Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Abi Salul about the hypocrite. But we don't know the hypocrite. We don't know who's believer and who's not. Only Allah knows. Only if they tell us If they tell us they are not believers, then they said it. So here, number 60 we mentioned, and we spoke also on sihr on Friday, because you were not in Ahmad. Now we said last Friday, sihr, we believe it exists, but we don't believe it's the divine ability. We believe somebody have more knowledge, and like Allah said in the Quran, يُخَيِّرُ لَهُم مِّن سِحْرِهِمْ أَنَّهَا تَسْعَى. It's all illusions. They have skills you don't have, and they might convince you they are making something magic, which they claim it's a divine ability. When Musa alayhi salatu wasalam came with the true divine ability, and his snake ate all the snakes, the first to become believers were the magicians, because they know they don't have divine ability, they just have ability to create illusion and bewilder the people, and people will think that it is magic while it is not. But Musa, it was a divine ability. Allah turned the stick into snake, and he made the snake eat all the other snakes. And that only can happen by Allah Azza wa Jal. So we know, and we mentioned Surah Al-Baqarah, there is the ayah that the angels came to teach, the angel Harun and Marut came to teach how to perform magic. And they taught people, but what they taught them, they said, this is a fitna, a test to you, so do not commit kufr, don't claim that you have the divine ability. And even the angels, what they taught is just to you be able to split the husband from the wife, to create more trouble, but they could not teach them to benefit themselves. So magicians never create gold or silver, never create like, you know, they never create even paper money. Magicians cannot come and become super rich because they create something. So magician, they know skills you don't know. In black magic, they usually use a lot of chemicals, and usually use hallucinatory drugs, and they make people more paranoid. And this is, unfortunately, this is what happened. Brother Khalid Hassan joined us, so welcome, Brother Khalid. So that's number 61.
Can you take questions?
Yes.
Did you the splitting of the husband and wife in magic, using magic, is that in the hadith?
In the Quran.
Oh.
It's in the Quran. ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه. I'll bring the ayah for you. So they can only destruct things. They cannot. I mentioned last Friday that I was asked to be expert witness against somebody who claimed to have the ability of bring the husband back to the marriage, or cure the cancer, or make the boyfriend loves her, and then no one from Birmingham agreed to be a witness, an expert witness, and Brother Atallah gave them my name, and I went and I brought from the Quran and the Hadith, using the jinn. Using the jinn is not a ability to anybody, and only Sulaiman was able to use it. And after Sulaiman, alayhi salam, he said to Allah that give me mulkan la yanbaghi li ahadin min ba'di. Nobody after me should be able to perform, have the ability to control jinn. And Allah gave him that request. Even Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was about to catch a jinni, a shaitan, he remembered Sulaiman, and he said he let it go, because Sulaiman asked nobody to have that power. So the answer is that no one can control the jinn. And here, the ayah here, which is, I'm going to stop the sharing and move to the ayah. Sister Nasreen, I think, joined us.
Yes, Assalamu
alaikum salam. I'll just show you the ayah from the Quran. Share. And so this is the ayah you see in Surah Al-Baqarah. واتبعوا ما تتلو الشياطين على ملك سليمان وأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفروا. Shayateen were telling the Jews that Sulaiman was magician. And Allah said, no, Sulaiman didn't commit a kufr, but Shayateen did. And they were teaching people sihr, which came from the two angels, Harut and Marut. So Harut and Marut came down with the magic. The jinn learned it, but the Harut and Marut, they were, every time they teach somebody, they say to him, they will not teach him until they say to him that what we are teaching you is fitna. We're giving you the ability to bewilder people and put them into a test. So do not commit kufr, don't ولا تكفر. But what Allah said, فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ, they learn only what they deviate between or separate between the man and his wife. يَتَعَلَّمُونَ مَا يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الزَّوْجِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. They learn from them means to discord between man and wife. But they could not harm anybody except by permission from Allah. And also Allah said they learn what's harm them rather than what benefit them. So they learn what harm them, not so basically black magic is more harm, or it's only harm and no good. They cannot benefit themselves. And وَقَدْ عَلِمُوا لَمَنِ اشْتَرَاهُ مَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَقٍ. The one who practice magic to split the family or cause harm, he will have nothing but punishment from Allah Azza wa Jal. He will not share. Would have not
Does it work
share
then?
in the happiness. Now,
Sorry, Dr. Ghannam, I was going to say, does black magic and all that work? I know it's in the Quran, but does it actually work?
yeah, I said last Friday that when LSD was discovered, they used it and they put it in the food or water of the enemies, and the enemies dropped their weapons and started laughing and joking, climbing trees and things. So you could give mainly drugs which cause psychiatric problem, paranoia, delusions, hallucinations. There's hallucinatory drugs that's quite well known. They use all sorts of basically chemicals which could affect our mental state, and that's how.
So that's not black magic though. That's just drug taking. I understood black magic to be some kind of divine intervention.
No, that doesn't exist. What I was saying last Friday, when people were not aware what they do, they thought it was divine ability. When they discovered, like I said, when Paul Daniel was producing this magic show, after they were programmed exposing the secrets of the illusions, he stopped the program. He said they spoiled it. He can no longer make people laugh or be amazed that he made something really magic. Now the black magic, they usually use chemicals, and they use things from the person's traces of his body cells or something, or scarf or shirt or some. There is ways to create probably substance could affect the mental state of another person. Now with more technology, with more science, with more knowledge, now they can no longer perform it because you go to the doctor, you get treatment against it, and it stops. So somebody came and gave a talk once in the Highland about some reason about schizophrenia, and he thought that schizophrenic people, they have the devil sitting in them and talking. So the voices they hear is the voices of the devil living in the body. And I said to him, oh, that's strange, but I can't get rid of that devil by giving the person tablets of olanzapine or risperidone, and the devil will disappear. So how is it that with my tablets I get the devil to leave the body? He said, oh, the devil doesn't like the taste of the risperidone. So when you have, in the past, they used to cause problems to people, and black magic, a person will be, usually either they themselves use it or they spot somebody who have already mental problem and they make it worse. And now we have a lot of methods and ways and drugs and things to get people better. So you don't see any member of your staff had black magic on him and came on Monday and they started talking rubbish and things. And then people straight away identify mental illness. Third world countries, they still have difficulty identifying mental illnesses, and they think it's true. And you could see a war between a mother-in-law and her daughter-in-law, because one of them is very paranoid and they can't see, but everything is against them and trying to harm them and whatever. So this is what was widespread in the past, the black magic, while here now. Have you seen anyone with black magic blade on him or her?
You do hear cases, or you hear stories, Allahu Alam how true they are, but I was just wondering that the magic Harut and Marut actually taught, that must exist somewhere in the world.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Yes, Allah created so many things which you can use and create havoc in the mind of somebody else. Now,
I see.
Where there were two guys in Manchester, they were hitting a lady to get the devil out of her because somebody played some tricks and get the devil in her, and she died from the hitting, and they both went to life imprisonment because the court did not accept that they have the ability to clean her from the devil invading her. Now, when you go to schizophrenic, there is a lot of them could produce new words, change their sound, change their behavior. People very distressed, they have something called dissociative behavior. And you go them and they talk so strangely, so strange voice. I went to see a lady in Heartland Hospital. She was so anxious and worried and started showing dissociative behavior. She was not sitting on the couch. She was hanging from the bottom of the couch, under the couch, hanging on the couch, and she wouldn't leave it and come and sit on the chair or sit on the couch. And eventually managed to get her to sit on the chair, and she told me how they went and married her to their son in Pakistan, and they brought her here, and she thought she was coming here to live in Buckingham Palace and to go around Britain and see Windsor Castle and see here and here. And she got stuck in a house with 7 in-laws and her mother-in-law, father-in-law, and her husband. And she's not going anywhere. She's not enjoying the dream they sold her when she was in Pakistan. So she became extremely anxious and worried and paranoid towards the family and started behaving in a very strange way. And this, obviously, they want to know whether there's a devil in her and there is this in her, or somebody played magic on her. When you entangle the things, split it apart and show where things came to the person's mind and why the behavior changed, it's not black magic. It's people who are suggestible, and there is evil people around who can make use of the suggestibility. Now, even Donald Trump, when he said you can inject yourself with disinfectant, how he believed in it, strange. But then there were hundreds of people phoning and saying that, is that true? Can we take this disinfectant? And because there's a lot of suggestible minds, and become very dangerous for somebody in that position. This is why straight away he came the next day, he said, no, I was sarcastic. But they said when you were talking, you turned into your chief medical officer, getting her to agreement. Were you sarcastic towards her? He said, oh, you are the evil media and you are this and that. And he just, but he could have damaged a lot of people. Because many people would take anything like they want a straw to hang on, a straw. They're drowning, anything they could get hold of to save themselves, they will not waste a chance. So this is why magic is has to be, in a way, this is what attracted me to psychiatry, actually. Being a doctor, a physical doctor, I went to psychiatry to understand, and psychology, to combine religion and medicine and psychiatry and come with an answer to all these things which people come with about magic and spirituality and the spirit and this and that. So it was a journey for me, which, alhamdulillah, I enjoyed, because I came to a lot of understanding myself, and then I can explain it to other people. So this is, magic is number 61. We believe it does exist, but we're haram, forbidden to believe they have the power to actually make any change to the law of Allah Azza wa Jal. Naam, Ahmad, you are.
No, I was going to say, just to recap what you said, the vulnerable people, so people who fall for these tricks are the most vulnerable ones. It's like people send their money to some fraudster in Nigeria, thinking that either they're going to marry them or this guy's going to get rid of all their problems.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much people send thousands of pounds.
When I went to the court was in Wolverhampton, most of the people sitting who are complaining about this guy who actually conned them, the police said to me, his house is 800,000 pounds. That was in 2000s. And he had around 4, 5, 6 expensive cars, Ferrari and Bentley and things. Most of the people sitting in the court were surprisingly Sikh. There were only a couple of Muslim families. And they convicted him of 11 out of 18 charges, and because of my expert witness part of it, obviously. And then he went to prison, and then a few months later, I had a threatening letter came from India. I didn't have my address or my name, but subhanAllah, when the letter arrived to me, and the letter, just, I know this rubbish they write and things, and I still have the letter, actually, just because he was, I took his livelihood away from him, conning people.
Oh, he was a Muslim healer, was he?
He was Muslim, yeah. Yeah, he was Muslim.
He was using Afreet. He was using Afreet, wasn't he? The jinn Afreet.
I told you, yeah. Actually, when the barrister came, persecution barrister came to me and he said, "What's Freet? What's Freet in Islam?" I didn't know, never heard of this. And then he went inside, and then while I was sitting there, it came to me, Afreet. قال عفريت من الجن. When Afreet, one of the jinn, Afreet means a very, very clever jinn. Very clever jinn. He said to Suleiman that I will bring you the throne of Queen of Sheba before you finish your assembly. And one who have knowledge, he said, I will bring it to you before your eye blink. That was there. So I said, that's what he meant. He said to them, he uses Afrits, like Suleiman used Afrit. So I said, no, after Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam, no one, Allah has given him the ability to use jinn or Afrit or any of shaitan or nothing. So that ability gone. It was in the past, Allah took it away on the request of Prophet Suleiman. Any more questions on that? Move on. 10 minutes left.
Yes.
وندين بالصلاة على من مات من أهل القبلة. If somebody died and you know he was a Muslim, you just pray Salat Janazah, whether he was behaving well or not behaving, and you inherit them. So you don't inherit him if he announced, you don't pray on him if he announced he was kafir. You don't pray Janazah on him and you don't inherit him. But if he was like many Muslims, if a prostitute died, shall we pray on her or not? We do. If she was Muslim, witnessing La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, we just pray on her. If somebody drink alcohol and he dies, shall we pray on him? Yes. If we know he was Muslim and he said the Shahada, we pray on him. So whether he's bar or fajr, because the belief in Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalik. Allah will not forgive anybody who associates a partner with Allah, but He will give, He forgives anything else. So to us that he died on the religion of Islam, and we pray on them. So that's and ونقر أن الجنة والنار مخلوقتان. Jannah created by Allah and the hellfire created by Allah Azza wa Jal. They are created. They were not there before, from eternity. They were created. وأن من مات وقتل فبأجله مات وقتل. Whoever died or get killed, he got killed by because his ajal, the dated ajal here, because you have the ajal and ajal musamma. يقضى أجل وأجل مسمى عنده. You know about it? You heard it from me before? أجل
No, can you?
مسمى.
Yeah, what is that?
أجل مسمى. I'll bring to you the ayah. يقضى أجل وأجل مسمى عنده.
What does it mean?
I'm going to bring you the ayah. So this is the ayah, Surah Al-An'am. Sharing. It doesn't share two screens. You have to get out of one screen and share the other one. So here, والذي خلقكم من طين ثم قضى أجلا وأجلا مسمى عنده. Can you see it now? You see the Quran?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's in Surah Al-An'am. هو الذي خلقكم. He's the one who created you from طين, from clay. ثم قضى أجلا. Now the English translation depends on his understanding to أجل and أجل مسمى. Then he decreed a dated term for you, and there is in his presence another determined term. Now he didn't explain it correctly, but he translated that there is another determined term. So the ajal, when you go to the rest of the Quran hadith, the ajal is your life expectancy coded within your DNAs on the day 42 or day 120, depends on the hadith you take. The angel come and puts the expected life expectancy, like the ajal, expectancy, how long you could live. But ajal musamma is the dated, musamma means name, dated ajal, which is with Allah Azza wa Jal. Because you could be expected to live 70 years or 90 years, coded within your genes, and somebody gets hit by a car and killed. Somebody fall from distance and from height and die. Somebody was in the wrong place and crossfire killed him. Or somebody decided to commit suicide and killed himself. So what's happened now? You have the ajal musamma with Allah Azza wa Jal, because Allah is we said in the future already know what happened and dated the date of death, which actually happened. So to Allah Azza wa Jal, it's happened in the past, for us still to happen. The ajal is your lifespan expectancy, the life expectancy. You might expose yourself to more radiation. You might work in a plant and there were radiation and you get cancer and die. Is that coded within your genes? No, you could live the 70 years if you were not working and expose yourself to radiation. And that ajal musamma with Allah Azza wa Jal, because already happened and dated. That ajal musamma you cannot change, the ajal you can. And the ajal you can, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever wanted his lifespan to increase should keep contact with his families and should actually donate more money. من أراد أن ينسأ له في أجله ويزاد له في رزقه فليصل رحمه. If you want your lifespan to increase, so Allah will increase it. If you are committed to good health and treat yourself, and so your lifespan increased. Ahmed asking a question, yeah?
Yeah, so that could be an example of qadr that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Qadar.
No, I think that's different. This is different. This is different.
Qadar, yeah, the Qadar, the
No,
law of Allah. The Qadar, 3 types of Qadar, which is the law of Allah, the measure of Allah, the plan of Allah. These are Allah have a plan for the future, or Allah He decide. The Ajal comes here under the measure. Allah decides.
That's right. That's right.
And the measure could be increased or decreased. So Allah could increase your wealth or decrease it, increase the rain, decrease the rain, increase the illness, decrease it. So that's under measure. The Qadar under measure is subject to change. Allah could change it with dua, with charity, with being good to your next of kin and things. Allah will increase the lifespan. So that's under measure from the Qadar. The people who don't understand the Qadar correctly, and they sometimes mix Qadar and Qadar, and they will have all sorts of funny answers to questions. So when you understand the Qadar under the measure, Ajal is under the measure. So the Ajal could be increased and decreased. And you could yourself cut it short. Somebody commits suicide. This is why he chose to finish his life and he got to hellfire. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, "Badarani abdi faqad haramtu alayhi al-jannah." My servant took the initiative from me, so I banned him from going to Jannah. Can Allah stop him? Yes. And I've told you many times that I have seen people who tried to kill themselves many times and they failed because Allah didn't want them to die. And somebody spotted them, or they couldn't even make a good job out of it. When I saw he lives in just Warwick Road, and he tried to drown himself in the bath, which many elderly do. Because he had very bad emphysema, his chest is very big, and he could not drown. Every time he tried to drown, he floated. So we managed to see him and treated him. I admitted him to hospital. So he tried to drown himself, but like trying to drown a balloon. The more you push the balloon under the water, it will float again. He couldn't swallow money.
What's the? Sorry, Sheikh, I can't see the number of ayah. This ayah in Surah An-An'am. What's the number of ayah?
It says not number 2, second ayah.
No, second ayah. Oh,
second ayah. You see the Surah An-An'am on the top here?
Yes.
Yeah. The first ayah, Alhamdulillah, الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون هو الذي خلقكم فمنكم من طين. And it's mentioned many times in the Quran, أجل المسمى. If you go here, it's أجل المسمى in Surah Taha, لكم فيها منافع إلى آخركم إلى أجل مسمى. Allah delayed you to that date which we will never change. ويستعجلون لكم ولولا أجل مسمى. There's date for the punishment already. Allah will not change. So the problem we have is we can't perceive how Allah has already in the future, looking back, how Allah knows the future. If you don't accept Allah knows the future, the whole religion will be nil and void. Because how would you agree there is day of judgment? How would you agree there's hell and paradise? How would you agree that there will be a resurrection of the death? Allah told us it's in the future, hasn't happened. This is why Kafirin had difficulty believing. Said, okay, bring back our ancestors. But the Prophet used to say, I didn't say in this life. We said next life, they will come back to life. You don't want to believe it, risk it. It is unseen. They believe in the unseen. يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Believe in the unseen. And the future is unseen. So it's mentioned many, many times in the Quran. يَجِلْهُمْ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. إذا أجل المسمى فإذا جاء أجلهم أجل المسمى. When the dated أجل comes, they will not be delayed an hour. لا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون. They will not be delayed for a second because the أجل مسمى, the date already happened. Now this is the أجل مسمى. And the same, Shams or Qamar, they move to a predetermined date when there will be day of judgment. They will not move any man. ثم يبعثكم ليقضى أجل مسمى. So it's mentioned a lot in the Quran, but many Muslims have difficulty accepting Ajal Musamma. And you can't accept it unless you would think of Allah already in the future looking back. And the Ajal Musamma will definitely happen. already happened to Allah Azza wa Jal. And He will not change it. Allah will not change the Ajal Musamma. Allah will change the Ajal, but not the Musamma. It's fixed, already done. Yeah?
Is that the one? Did you say it's in your DNA?
No, the Ajal in your DNA. Ajal Musamma is the actual date of death or date of marriage, actual, the things which actually, nobody can put Ajal Musamma. You can guess, you can say, I want to go to London tomorrow, I want to go. How many plans void and spoiled by the coronavirus? There's so many consent and trips and meetings and sales and buys, and it's a lot, disrupted the whole system on planet Earth. And they were talking today, they started talking about the virus, how it changed our environment, and how we're going to miss that if we go back to the same number of flights. I don't think there will be that flights anymore. These millions of people flying every day, going on holidays, and the cruise ship, I don't know how it will work in the future. There will be definitely a reduction. There's one major airline, American airline, went bankrupt last night. They applied for bankruptcy. So I don't think anybody else will buy the planes, the airlines, because they're all suffering. Nobody have money to buy the airline. So this is.
Sorry, Sheikh. Time is running out now, but I have one or two questions about this just to get it clear in my mind. I'll have those questions ready for tomorrow morning, just on this point, because I'm slightly confused by what is in your DNA, and then what is an accident and what is a suicide. The three things are not clear in my mind.
What's in your DNA is your Ajal, lifespan. What's
your lifespan? I see.
Your lifespan. The Ajal Musamma, your lifespan, your DNA will not decide whether you get hit by a car or you kill yourself, or there's a war and you die in the war. It's not coded within your DNA. Your DNA is just how long this body will live. How long this, because the information you have in the DNA is massive, because you don't grow hair on your face until you pass the teenager. Imagine the hair comes when you are 2 years old. Your voice changes at a certain age. At a certain age, your lady becomes fertile. At a certain age, you stop having children. When this DNA switch on and off, part of it could be like DNA switch on and person develop cancer and develop certain disease and things. People switch on and start having diabetes, and people switch on but if you can diet correctly and have the right medications, and you could delay the Ajal. The rewards from Allah Azza wa Jal that He will expand your Ajal. So the measure of Allah Ajal is measure from Allah Azza wa Jal.
So DNA is the blueprint. The DNA is the blueprint or the plan, and all the other things are events that take place.
Yeah.
Which can
Allah Azza wa Jal, the outside influence, Allah Azza wa Jal will direct you to eat the right food, take the right medicine, will bring the idea to the doctor, what was your illness, and he gets you treated. We were talking about a couple of relatives we have in Syria. The doctors, they went to see the doctors with chest pain and wasn't diagnosed, and they died of heart attack. 3 of them, we were talking earlier, me and my wife, because the doctor wasn't given the idea from Allah Azza wa Jal. The person himself probably doesn't need to live anymore, because when we studied, look into his life, his relationship, his care for himself, and one of them heavy smoker, and everybody, even my children said to him, many times, don't smoke, and they wrote smoking kills and cause you to have cancer and heart attack. And they took a picture of him. He was carrying the cigarettes and the banner behind him. He was just saying to my children, I'm not going to die, I'm smoking. He died in his 50s. So it's not a joke, but he chose not to follow the advice deliberately. And we have the picture. My children took a picture of him with the banner behind him. Smoking kills lead to cancer and heart attacks and things. And he was smiling and carried on smoking. The other guy was all his family, like, his brother died of heart attack. He never went and had any cholesterol checked and triglyceride, didn't have any statins. No. It wasn't, these people who just, you tell them they will die because of this overweight. They don't care. So this is, Allah would have helped them to increase their lifespan should they listen, but they chose not to. So Allah didn't. Some people might be too good to die. Allah will help them, will direct them, go to this doctor and take that drug and avoid this, avoid that. And it's the gift from Allah if you are good. This is why we're saying the measure will increase. Otherwise, you would have died earlier. You are prone to death like your brothers and sisters, and they died, you didn't. Why? Because you are early, took the advice and took the right medicine, the right food, the right drink. So the DNA have your Ajal, and Allah has the Ajal Musamma already known to Allah when you will die. But the cause of death, you might live long life, like Ali ibn Abi Talib. He asked Allah to live long life and die as a martyr. So he lived long life. He didn't die in Badr or Uhud or Khandaq. No, he died. He was killed by Bin Muljam. So, and he died as a martyr. And
should one do the dua?
Sorry?
Should one do, when you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a longer life, are you asking Allah to change your ajlun or ajlun musamma?
Ajal. Enlarge your Ajal. Ajal Musamma is believe it, it's in the future. Allah in the future looking back.
Yeah, that can't change. That can't change.
That can't change, but Allah has increased. You don't